Good afternoon. Hello. Casey Durango here of Go Keto with Casey. I think I jumped the gun a little bit there. Hope you're well. We are well. And happy spring. Today is the first day of spring. Thank goodness. So I want to give a little preamble here. I had planned from long ago today, March 20th, first day of spring, to transition my Saturday live streams from here in the den in front of the fire to the kitchen with the dining room in the backdrop. Today is really cold. It's here and I'm really cozy. And I just had a patron only live stream and I asked the attendees, hey, what do you think about being in the fireplace or in the kitchen? And one person said, no, it's first day of spring. Move, get away from the fire. And another person wrote, there's still snow on the ground here in Colorado. Do it in the fireplace. So here's the transition. Compromise. From our garden, hastily and inartfully picked a few of our daffodils and put them in a vase. And I also want to share with you some tomato seedlings that I've started indoors. First time I've done it ever, and I'm really excited. I'm documenting this on my blog, by the way, The Garden. Anywho, let's get to the topic at hand. And thank you for that, indulging me to share that information. First of all, can you guys see and hear me? Last week there was some confusion. Give me a thumbs up if you can see and hear me. I'm going to keep on talking until someone says it's not working. Yes, thank you. So I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. And quick primer for those of you unfamiliar with the protocol, as I learned it and have practiced it for now over 7 years. And you can see my before photos at my blog. I was morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s, and I had given up on losing weight. I had simply gotten to the point where I was growing even more unhealthy and didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. Came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, someone I am now proud to say is a friend. And it's very simple. You keep your carb intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net carbs. If it's not on Dr. Westman's page 4, link below, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That's all there is to it. No counting of grams of anything other than carbs. No percentages of anything. No fancy extra foods. It's just food. You just lay off the carbs. Okay, so that's what it is. I started doing it it was like a Wednesday, And I said, next time I eat, I'm just going to lay off the carbs. And I did. And within days, I started feeling better physically. I had joint pain. Everything ached. Carrying around all that weight was uncomfortable, to say the least. I'm 5'1", so that much extra weight on my frame was quite a lot. And amazingly, I started losing weight. And I was not hungry. And I was happy. And my mood improved. It was more regulated. So there you go. So all of this good stuff. How many of you have encountered keto critics? And please share things that you have been told directly or you have heard. But there are people critical of the protocol. Most of them, I'm going to guess, either have vested interests. They have a philosophical problem with eating animal flesh. They have a vested interest in selling food that is carb-laden. And please, as a side note here, just because the word keto, which is not really a word, it's a term that has started to be used in the last several years, short for ketogenic. And ketogenic means being in a state of ketosis where your body is burning fat for fuel. By the way, my friend Amy Berger has pointed out, what food isn't ketogenic? Our bodies are ketogenic. Food is just food. Anywho, it's almost never No matter what the front label says about so-called net carbs, look at the back label. It can say 3 net carbs and 17 grams of carb on the back. So anyway, food manufacturers, they want to pick up on the phrase ketogenic, but they don't really want to sell you a steak. They want to sell you easy bake muffins, microwavable brownies, keto cereal, whatever the heck that is. And some people are simply willfully ignorant, honestly, in my opinion. They criticize, even though they can see our product improvement, that we are happier and healthier and moving and looking better and more energy. Well, they might criticize it like, that's crazy, you're going to have a heart attack. When maybe they don't even really believe that. Maybe they do. But maybe they're not at a point where they're ready to give up their crackers and chips and fries and pizza and cheesy bread. So sometimes people criticize the protocol. Either they don't truly understand it. They've kind of been, a little bit brainwashed. Or they don't want to be expected to follow it for their own health. And that's their choice. Everyone has their own choice. So we talked about this in yesterday's patron-only live stream. Was it yesterday? I can't remember. Couldn't have been, because I had one today. Whenever it was. Oh, no, I did a snippet. I did a snippet, that's right. Sorry. I do 20 short videos a month for patrons. And the patrons suggest the topics. And the question was, or the topic was, can you please talk to when people say, look at you, you're out to dinner or you're having a family thing, and someone says, how long are you going to continue to eat that way? First of all, rude of that person. So I was kind of noodling around in my head. Well, you could say this, you could say, why would I change? But answering a question with a question is always a pretty good thing if you want to deflect. So I thought, when someone asked me, how long are you going to continue eating that way? I think I would glance at their plate and say, I don't know, how long are you going to continue eating that way? Or if you want to get really snarky, how long are you going to continue drinking that way? If it's appropriate. But you see, the person asking the question wants to draw attention to our plate and away from their plate. A lot of people really know intellectually, logically, that it's not going to give you a heart attack. That, what gives you a heart attack is cardiovascular disease. And what brings that on? Carbs. So there you go. Keto critics. What are we to make of them? Nothing. We don't need to make anything of them. It's not our business. Nobody gets a vote on what we eat, and we really don't get a vote on what anyone else eats. Proselytizing about keto, not a good idea. I don't bring it up unless somebody asks me, of course, other than these live streams. And rarely people do ask me or bring it up. And that's fine. I used to sell wine glasses that said, all I want to do is drink wine and talk about keto. And that's true. Except I'm kind of moving off of wine and more onto, I don't know. And I'm cutting back on alcohol anyway, because I'm older. I weigh less. I'm smaller. I eat less. You don't want to overdo it. I'm going to turn my attention for right now to some of your comments and see if you guys are sharing, because I did ask. Shell F writes, food freedom. Elisa Nieves de that I will wind up dead from high cholesterol instead of fat, which is just factually incorrect. That's someone speaking out of ignorance. The saturated fat cholesterol heart disease connection it's just now widely realized that it was wrong. It's just incorrect. If you lay off the carbs, start burning fat for fuel. And not an immediate time, but in a fairly short time, your triglyceride, which is inflammatory, goes down and your HDL goes up. And that's what you want. LDL, nobody cares. Overall cholesterol number, irrelevant. You want your triglyceride and HDL to be equal, and even better if your HDL number is higher than your triglyceride. Anti-inflammatory. This is a very anti-inflammatory way of eating. So yes, you're going to have a heart attack. No. Cardiovascular disease. You're thought to be at high risk for cardiovascular disease if you have metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is defined as having 3 out of 5 factors: large waist circumference, high blood pressure, high blood glucose, blood sugar, high triglyceride, and low HDL. 3 out of 5. So you can be thin and have 4 out of those and be a walking time bomb. You can have large waist circumference and none of the others. That's rare, but you can. Yeah, so that's what people say. You're going to die. Okay, well, no. We promised to say nice things about them at their funeral. I have misplaced my mouse somehow. I don't know how I did that. So let me scroll around here if I can. Okay, Bird Lover has written, how is meat ever more toxic than all the chemicals in processed food? Right? And I'm sorry, the chat has bounced around for me. I saw something. Oh, Labrat writes, hi, Casey, new here. The page 4 you mentioned here is a bit different than the chart in Dr. Westman's new book. Can't speak to that. The page 4, if you follow the link, is copyrighted. And also as things, as more research comes out, it can change. But you don't even need a sheet of paper. Eat fatty sources of protein, limited non-starchy vegetables, which you don't have to have any starchy vegetables. You don't have to have a veg or leafy greens. But if you're going to have them, a maximum of about a cup a day, which is about the size of your wrist, not your wrist, your fist, of non-starchy vegetables, pre-cooked, and about 2 cups, the size of 2 fists, of leafy greens a day, maximum. Full-fat dairy, limited. It's not eat all the cheese you can find or bring me the vat of mayonnaise. But fatty sources of protein, what does that mean? Animal product. If it's animal flesh, beef, pork, poultry, oily fishes, lamb. I don't know. Is alligator fatty? I don't know. So eat the fat that comes with the protein. That just means, it doesn't mean load up on MCT oil. This is not a high fat diet, and added dietary fat is going to be counterproductive if you have body fat to lose. So you really, honestly, I have not looked at page 4 since probably 2014. It's not that hard to realize what to eat. If it ever had a face, then it's okay. And eggs, fantastic. Eat eggs with the yolks. Somebody's out there saying, in the ketosphere, lay off the egg yolks every now and again. Why would I do that? That's where the nutrition is. And take it too far. Martha Blake writes, I have started so many times. I just keep failing. I've elevated inflammation in my body. I really believe this would work. But when it comes to me doing it, I can't help. Yes, you can. First bit of advice I have for you, Martha, is to quit saying you can't. Okay, this t-shirt, I see and IW, I can and I will. Go keto with Casey. You can see it below my video. Okay, I told myself for years, I can't give up tortilla chips. There's no way I can do that low carb thing. And, I couldn't until I did. And I certainly quit telling myself that I couldn't. You can. You don't think of it as for the rest of my life. Think of it for the next time I put food in my mouth, I'll lay off the carbs. That's it. And then the next time after that, lay off the carbs. And then the next time, lather, rinse, repeat. Just keep doing that. And after a while, you realize you've strung together 3 days of laying off the carbs, and then it's a week, and then it's a month. And then you made it through a holiday and somebody's birthday, and you laid off the carbs, and you feel better, and the inflammation is gone. Because the inflammation is gone, you get out and move more, and you're in a better mood. I was in a crabby mood for a long time, and I'm a nice person, and I had been a very optimistic person until years of feeling badly about myself just weighed me down, literally. And I turned to being an anxious pessimist. I'm back to being an energetic, not anxious optimist. And if I can do this, honey, you can do this. Look at my before photos. Those weren't even my heaviest. Those photos don't exist. Humans are lipivores. We like fat and meat. Oh, thank you. Mary writes, Casey, you're so inspiring. Thank you. Mona Tufan, marhaba. In religious perspective, in the aspect of Judeo-Christian Islamic way, all prophets ate animal food, more or less. They shared food. They treated well the animals. I can't claim more mercy than them. What a beautiful way to put it, Mona. Mona is in Istanbul in Turkey. And marhaba, for those of you who don't know, she taught me how to say hello in Turkish. Hey, Suzanne. Carla Pinkman writes, understand my friends are saying, okay, now enough. You are getting too thin. I love my delicious protein, meat. Yeah, and what do we think the chances are really that we weigh too little? We have become inured to a population in Western culture particularly, and now it's spreading, it's just grown larger. Someone who, if you look at movies and television shows from like the 50s going back, people were tiny, but they weren't tiny. They were what they were supposed to be. We have grown large. So now someone who is at their correct weight and proportion looks really small. Plus, let's face it, relationships can be impacted when one of the group makes a change or a couple of the people make a change. And this is not just for food or keto or whatever. So if somebody gives up alcohol, stops smoking, doesn't want to go to Vegas, to the casinos anymore because they realize they shouldn't be gambling, it makes the people who are still engaging in that behavior feel awkward and like a spotlight is on them. And sometimes I think they feel like you're judging them. No, go to Vegas, have a good time. I'm just not going. Enjoy your martini. I will pass. I'm happy with my club soda with lime. No, thank you. I'll pass on the bread basket. So then we feel better. We look better. We lose weight. We're healthy, whatever. And now it's like, not only is there a bright light on them, they think in comparison, but now they feel like there's a microscope on them in comparison. No, I don't know about you. I feel, I keep hitting my microphone. I apologize. I feel nothing but compassion and hope for the people around me, people, some of whom I've never met. I have no idea who they are. I simply see them out in public. And some of them are people I know. I have hope that they will make a change. But until they're ready to, they won't. I wasn't until I was ready to. I felt so badly about myself. Again, it wasn't about losing weight. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. And I did not want to go on living another 25, 30, 35, 40 years, feeling the way physically and mentally that I did. That's a mashup from Go Keto with Casey. I just didn't, he was like, this is not good. I don't want to do this. I'm disinterested in my own life. I was clinically depressed, not every day, not every week. But those of you who have experienced actual depression know you don't have to experience it every week. A couple, 3 times a year is enough. It's debilitating. But I realized mine was becoming even more chronic. So I hope people around me in the world, I hope people in society will make better choices for themselves, open their minds. You know, as the old saying, a mind is like an umbrella. It only functions when open. But that it'll happen or it won't. All I can do are make choices for myself. If my lovely mate, who happens to, he started 6 months after I did, never had a weight problem, never really had any health issues, very fit, strong, distance cyclist, he'd put on a little bit of weight around his tummy after age 50, you know, got down to his ideal weight in 13 hours after he started. But he does this for health. But even if he wasn't on board, which he wasn't the first 6 months I was doing this, it's not that he wasn't on board, he just wasn't doing it. He wasn't disagreeing with me. I had to still make choices for myself. Not, he couldn't make choices for me. And I couldn't make choices for him. We can't do it with our parents, our siblings, our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews, our coworkers, our bosses, neighbors. We can't. People who are criticizing the process, though, let's just realize either they don't understand it and maybe don't want to understand it, or are not at a place where they feel like they can make that change. And they'd rather just say, it's crazy, it doesn't work, you're going to die, rather than to pass on the Pringles. I have a real hair across my bottom about Pringles here lately. It came up, I don't know why I haven't thought about Pringles in I don't know when. But anyway, it came up in conversation. Pringles? That's not even fake food. That's fake food. Anyway, I'm going to turn back to comments. And I think I've lost total placement of the, I wish I had my mouse. Here it is. Oh, please. My external mouse. It's easier. All righty, let's see where we are. Andrea L. writes, I weighed myself for the first time in a year and just can't keep on the same path I was. Either I change or I keep gaining and have the ramifications of that diet. So are you saying that you haven't weighed in a year? I'm not sure where you are. I hope you're feeling like if you need a change that you will make it. Okay, Karen Kamoseki writes, am I too old to start at 59? Heck no. There might be people here. Just at the end of our patron-only live stream, someone's turning 81 tomorrow. It's her birthday tomorrow. And it's never too early to start. No, it's not too. No, it's not. These are myths that if you haven't lost weight by the time you pass through menopause, you're never going to. It's a lie. It's just incorrect. Sharon DiStefano writes, my husband and I eat out a lot. I'm keto and eat great fatty meats. Most restaurants marinate their meats. Will that hurt keto? It depends on what the marinade is. So most restaurants we go to, straight up steakhouses, and we've been out one time in over a year. Mostly because of COVID, but also because we can cook a steak delightfully for a lot less money. So yeah, I would avoid anything that's marinated because almost always there's sugar. There's sugar in sauces. There's sugar in dressings. Somebody wrote that they found sugar in salt. Okay, Sherry Brink, you're writing not enough calories, too much protein, not enough fruits and veggies. You're saying what people criticize. I tell them I never ate fruits and veggies before keto, never ate good protein, and all the calories I ate was junk and carbs and sweets. Perfect. By the way, that whole 5 servings a day of fruit and veg, Zoe Harcum, just research Zoe Harcum, ZoeHarcombe, and along with the phrase 5 a day. She'll set you straight on where that came from. It was invented in 1991 by the National Cancer Institute and the vegetable and fruit growers. Andrea Elliott, yes, I'm changing my diet. My dad is having bypass next week and my mom has type 2. I'm changing my lifestyle. This is not just a diet. Okay, I'm going to be really persnickety here. It is a diet. Diet is a noun. It's also a verb. I am not dieting, but I follow the ketogenic diet. A kosher diet is a diet. A vegetarian diet is a diet. And it can also be a way of eating. People feel better if they say it's a way of life. But no, I'm not dieting. I just eat really great food when I'm hungry. Hey, Gray's Custom Trim, I love it when you show up. You're never too late to feel better. I have, oh, okay. Shameless Commerce Division. Casey's 12-month, Go Keto with Casey's 12-month record book in both spiral version, which you can get at my blog, and Perfect Bound, which you can get at Amazon. It's a little bit less expensive at Amazon. You'll get it much faster. And I'll send it. I have to do the product. But I want to tell you something. One of my favorite quotes attributed to George Eliot, which was the pen name of Marianne Evans. It's never too late to be what you might have been. I love that quote. This is full of quotes, this book. If a problem has a solution, there is no need to worry. If a problem has no solution, worry is of no use. The Dalai Lama. And then there are habit trackers and stuff in it. And then places to keep a journal and stuff. It's fun. What I called my super secret silly project. Anywho, there you go. And I give a shout out to patrons, some of who are here. So at my Patreon, which is a private support group, I make 20 videos a month, Monday through Friday, sitting at my kitchen counter, no makeup, bed hair, everything else. My husband cooking breakfast in the background. A handful of patron-only video live streams on Crowdcast, and a handful of patron-only Zoom video group sessions. So there you go. Thank you to patrons. Aaron Workman, a super chat. Thank you so much. Super chat is a really cool thing, and I'm not soliciting, but if you make a super chat, which is, and you want a question and you want to make sure it gets highlighted and stays up at the top of the screen for a minute so that I can see it, that's great. Another thing, talking about questions, here's a link to the next online Durham support group meeting with Dr. Eric Westman and myself on Crowdcast. It's free. And you can ask questions in advance. If you go there, there's an Ask a Question tab at the bottom of the screen. So ask your questions in advance. Don't put it in the chat section, because by the time the chats are going like this, and if 90 people are signed up, there are going to be a lot of chats. Put it under the Ask a Question tab. And if you see it on replay and you see Ask a Question, you can click on there. Oh, I want to know the answer to that question too. You can click on it and you're taken right there. There you go. But it's free and show up. What happened with Melissa? The Gray's Custom Trim is saying, nice, Melissa. I bet you feel amazing. Let me see. I'm down 75 pounds, writes Melissa Andrews. Golly. Been keto since 2017, but got off track in 2020. Back at it. Thoughts on keto and Hashimoto's? There are people in my group that have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. They have no thyroid, hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, no gallbladder, only one kidney. Have had a menopause, and some of these people is almost like one of everything. Yes, it might be more challenging or not, but I've asked a question specifically to Dr. Westman more than once. Is there any condition, excuse me, let me make sure it's not my husband. Hold, please. Nope. Any condition for which the ketogenic protocol is either contraindicated or is ineffective. We'll make it ineffective. He said, nope. We have to just figure out for our body what works. For the vast majority of people, 20 grams of carbs or fewer a day, total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. That's the hardest part, 100%. Hardest part, because we have to unlearn what we thought was hunger when it was really our brain calling for food because we were sugar burners. And thank you, Cuckoo. And Cuckoo's back after a long hiatus. I wrote a blog post about that, by the way. I don't know that the metaphor translated. It made sense in my mind when I was writing it. when you're a sugar burner, because glucose, sugar, cannot be stored in the blood and it burns very quickly, and the brain is the energy hog of the body, uses 25-30% of the energy or calories. Since it can't be stored, it needs a fresh supply. The analogy I use is that it's like if our brain was a campfire and you decided you're going to burn pine cones and dried leaves to keep your campfire going. Well, that's fine. It'll burn, but you better keep feeding that every couple of minutes, pine cones and dried leaves. If I have my campfire over, next campsite over, and I'm burning hickory logs, in this metaphor, hickory logs are burning fat or ketones for fuel. I could throw a couple of hickory logs on and go about my business. Maybe I go fishing. You're back there shoveling pine cones and dried leaves onto the campfire, or else it's going to go out. Glucose, fast burning fuel. Ketone bodies, fat, slow burning fuel. So when we think we're hungry, even though we just ate 2 hours ago, it's not hungry. It's our brain saying, get me some more glucose. Get me some dried leaves and pine cones. Okay, Brianna Novak writes, Karen Komowski, my father started at 84. He's 85 now and has reversed 20 years of type 2 diabetes. His black toes are normal now. His kidneys that were at 50 to 75% now are at 100. This is miraculous. This should be headline news, right? Not on a cover, how to lose 90 pounds in 3 weeks. No, how to reverse type 2 diabetes. That's the news. Sorry, I'm yelling. Sorry about that. Alrighty. Shell writes, eggs have iodine. Get your vitamins through foods first. Absolutely. People ask me, do I take supplements? I don't take electrolytes. I do. I take it back. I do take a magnesium chloride. I get it off of Amazon 5 at a time, because I have always had leg cramps even before keto, and I've done the testing where I come on and off of it. So I take 3 slow release 68 milligram magnesium, just because I find when I stop and I go, but no, I don't take electrolytes. I don't take vitamins. I don't take supplements. What you do, it works for you. Again, Zoe Harcum, if you compare the nutrition values of animals and plants, there is no comparison. Listening to keto with, it's Casey, not Cassie. Hey, Belinda. Listening to Keto with Casey every morning as a mentor keeps me motivated every day. Thank you so much. And she's a patron, so she gets to hear the things. I find that salts helps more with my leg cramps. I've tried that as well, and I do try to keep my sodium up, but mine is clearly one that needs that stuff. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and wrap up. Enjoy the first day of spring, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Stay safe. Keep your carbs low. Don't eat if you're not hungry. It's pretty basic. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.